Green flag drops on the racing, and Andy Robertson in car 140 leads them away. Phil Smith in 109 going wide there, but he leads the charge from the red tops down the home straight for the first time. The leaders are approaching the pits corner. It's car 140. Andy Robertson at the head of affairs from 277, Martin Southwell, and 275, Paul Farrar. So the light tops leading station as 277 goes into a half spin. 140, Andy Robertson in the black and white machine, leading heat number 1. The red tops seeking the way through the traffic in the early stages. It's 140 from 275 up to third, challenging for second, number 3, Eddie Roberts on turn 1 and 2, and he approaches the back straight. The yellow top moves into second. 77 Ian Platts is an early casualty in heat number 1 as Eddie Roberts powers on by. He's in second. In third is 275. In fourth is and then comes number 80, John Anchors, onto turns 3 and 4, and 383, Dave Johnson puts the bumper in, and everybody goes sideways. 471, Bobby Burns fights his way through as we look at Roberts once again. 140, Andy Robinson through turns 1 and 2, down the back straight he goes. As 391 Andrew Smith tries to get back into the action there. He's a lap down at this stage. There's 140, your race leader. In second, 38 is number 3, Eddie Roberts. In third is 275. Fourth could well be number 14, Roger Bromley, and the red tops are left high and dry. 471, Bobby Burns is already out of it. And leading the red tops at the moment is 109, Phil Smith. Number 14 and number 80 battling there in the places at this stage in heat number 1. And there goes Robinson again to complete another lap as the track begins to dry. Already has been a victor on the tarmac in a succession of B-style races, and now really showing that he's really beginning to bring it all together on the shale around this vast shale bowl here at Odsal. Going a little bit wide there though. Oh, and I've nearly put the Nigel Mansells on him. 140 though, still leading ahead of number 3, Eddie Roberts. As it will be the halfway stage this time around. A lot of the traffic trying to get back into the places. There goes Bobby Burns in 471, having half spun early in the race, trying to get back into it. And just look at Andrew Smith approaching the pits turn now, putting the bumper in on car 80 at John Anchors. Inside he goes and up a place. But it all seems to no avail as far as your race leader is concerned. Number 140, Andy Robinson, looks absolutely unsurpassable in heat number 1. There goes 109, the British champion Phil Smith. And now the dust really beginning to rise as we go down to just 4 laps remaining. Phil Smith there in 109. Powers his way through the pits corner. Andrew Smith in 391. Desperately trying to keep with him. Going down the home straight and into turns 1 and 2. And here's 140, Andy Robinson once again trying to pass the back marker. 14, Roger Bromley with 3 to go. He made a little mistake on the approach to the home straight a few laps earlier, but he's surprised and survived impeccably and breaks away from those right the way around the raceway. Oh, going wide once again, Bromley unlaps himself, but still Andy Robinson in 140, although at this late stage, number 3, Eddie Roberts, 237, Bob Timpley, and 109, Phil Smith are beginning to close, but it's going to be checkered flag this time around for Robinson in car 140. from number 3, Eddie Roberts, 237, Bob Timperley, and 109, Phil Smith, and 391, Andrew Smith. Those places just purely observations at this stage. Confirmed results will follow on screen. Red flag's out, and a flag-to-flag victory for number 140. And in anticipation of that green flag for heat number 2. And away we go racing. And just look at the traffic already entering the pits turn for the first time. There goes Spalding and Wayman, but just look at that melee entering turn 1. And who's going to come out the best? Number 2, Paul Harrison there, trying to get through on the approach to the back straight. He leads in car number 2, the red top charge. At the head of affairs at the moment is 424, Mike Haywood, as he approaches turn number 2, and down the back straight he goes. But already this heat is looking a far more lively affair than it was in the heat number 1. And it's 24.24, Mike Haywood leading for 141, Paul Corker. 21, Mark Gilbank is third down the home straight, and then comes 218, Derek Fairhurst. 98, Les Spencer. And those two blue tops on the approach to the back straight, battling hard. 98 getting the better of car 218. There goes Les Spencer in 98. So 424, Michael Haywood still at the head of affairs, and that ex-Ian Platt's car. Down the back straight he goes. In second place now is 21, Mark Gilbank. In third is 98, Les Spencer. In fourth place is 218, Derek Fairhurst. And in fifth is 456, Bob Butterfield. Now the red tops come into view. Down the home straight they go with 73, Rob Cowley lying in sixth position under intense pressure from 515, Frankie Wainman Jr. And there goes Wainman lining up the 73 car, approaching the pits corner. Power hard down on that 5, that large Chevrolet engine. Puts the pressure on car 73, approaching the back straight once again, and car 2, Paul Harrison, has had to retire, and we have a cautionary situation here on the approach to the pits turn. Car 136 looks to be in need of help, and Mr. Starter heeds the instructions of the race steward, brings the race under caution. The cars slow down. No overtaking is allowed, and at this stage, your present leader in heat number 2 is 424, Mike Haywood. So, under the cautionary situation, your leader at the moment is 424, Mike Haywood. 400, Jim Conlon is at this stage a back marker. 21, Mark Gilbank is in second place as he decides to throw away his goggles by the look of it. 98, Les Spencer is there in third position. 456, Bob Butterfield right in front of us. He's next in line. Then comes 73, Rob Cowley. And 515, Frankie Wayman Jr. Hellos, the situation has now been cleared, and we're about to recommence racing in heat 2. Green flag, and there goes Haywood. Already anticipated it perfectly and breaks away, trying to keep ahead of 21, Mark Gilbank, and 98, Les Spencer. And Spencer now really applies the pressure through turn number 2, and into second place he goes. Oh, just look at this right in front of us. Oh, and 378, Wayne Handley in desperate trouble. And the red tops pour on through, and Wayne Handley is left high and dry. 424, Mike Haywood leading into the pits turn he goes as 98, Les Spencer cuts him down. Battling for for third. Here they come. 73 Rob Cowley and 515 Frankie Raymond Jr. in a hail of dust, and 260 Dave Beresford, who won the semi-final last Saturday night, is really under a lot of pressure from 53 John Lund down the back straight, and here come the red tops. Goodness me, and look at Beresford and Wainman locked together at the halfway stage of heat number 2, and now Lund again goes in on Beresford on the top turn, down the back straight once again, and they're still battling, all 4 of them, for third position. Really, those drivers are desperately trying to see anything they can right in front of them. On the back straight, 424, Mike Haywood leading. Correction, it is now 98 Les Spencer with the lap boards out. And we really can't see that much now. 98 though, on the back straight. In leading, he is in car 98, ahead of 424 Mike Haywood. In third place is 73 Rob Cowley. Fourth is 515 Frankie Raymond Jr. In fifth place 260 Dave Beresford, and in sixth is number 1 Peter Faulding. In seventh is 53 John Lund, and those are the placings. With 3 laps remaining for 98 Les Spencer. And it really has gone incredibly dusty now. No shale left on the racing line. And here comes Spencer on the pits corner. There goes Haywood. There goes Cowley. And Wayman's gone onto the logs. Wayman's been pushed aside. He really couldn't see where he was going. And the question is now, can we see who's going to cross the line for the checkered flag? On the back straight, 98 Les Spencer coming into view once again. The top 3 all together, but it's checkered flag this time, and 98 Les Spencer wins a dramatic heat number 2 in a hail of dust, ahead of a magnificent drive by 424 Mike Haywood, and 73 Rob Cowley coming in third place. In fourth looked to have been 260 Dave Beresford. Fifth was number 1 Peter Faulding, and sixth was 53 John Lund, as 64 Kev Smith and 234 Mark Duxbury exited on the reds in a dramatic style because they literally couldn't see where they were. Andy Smith. Andy gives it a fire it up. Phil Smith in car 109 on his outside. He's the British champion. Those two leading the red tops in heat 3 tonight. The other red tops include 202 Richard Mason and 471 Bobby Burns. Macy in 202, he's using his tarmac machine tonight because last Saturday at the Chesterton semi-final he lost oil pressure in the Chevrolet of his shale car. So it's the all-red machine tonight for Mason. Let's see how he gets on in heat 3, anticipating the drop of the green. But for how much longer? 275. Paul Farrer leads him away down the home straight. There goes Frankie Wayman in 212. The long-time serving racer already under pressure from 77 Ian Platts, who spins it. Your leader, number 3, Eddie Roberts, from 237, Bob Timpley. Then comes 275, Paul Farrer. As 383, David Johnson. He's the second blue top, charging through the pack in the early stages. The one in front of him, down the back straight he goes, is 34 Mal Brown, looking for a way past 215 Jeff Nichols. Oh, and he nearly tangles out, he does so! And that's allowed Johnson to try and get through, as does 391 Andrew Smith. They all begin to bunch together on the approach to the top turn. And Nichols goes wide, and 391 Andrew Smith tries to elbow aside the 34 car Mal Brown, who begins to lose it. Breaks on by Andrew Smith, going wide there, and 383 Dave Johnson in turn trying to look for a way through. and the impetuous Blue Top from Clown near Chesterfield gets on by the Starman from Rochdale, but the Rochdale Cowboy 391 Andrew Smith gets back there on the back straight and chases hard after 34 Mal Brown, who currently lies in second position. And number 3, Eddie Roberts, on the crown of turn number 1, has lost it in dramatic style as the wheel has been shed from his car and he grinds to a halt. There's your new leader, 34 Mal Brown from 391 Andy Smith. In third position is 383 Dave Johnson, and in fourth is 371 Shane Durrell. So now it's going to be a question of can Mal Brown hold off Andy Smith for honours in heat number 3 as far as the form book goes. It's 34 from 391, then comes 383, and they're all fairly spread out so far. The British champion 109 Phil Smith hasn't had such an easy time of it compared to Andy, and is a fair way back. He's on the back straight as the leaders come through. It's 34 with 391 beginning to close, and there they go, power sliding through the pits turn. Have to be wary of that white top novice car which is parked right in front of Mr. Starter. Too much throttle and they'll go flying out too wide and they'll clip it. And Smith now in 391 trying to pass the back marker, number 11 Len Morris, who impedes his progress somewhat, but Smith gets on through and tries again to close on your race leader, 34 Mal Brown. Andy Smith getting rid of 237 Bob Timpley. A little bit further back on the pits turn, here they come, the battle for fourth position, and 77 Ian Platt and 371 Shane Durrell fight it out neck and neck, and there they go through the top turn. Platt's beginning to get the better of Durrell, and there's a battle on still for the lead. 34 Mal Brown on the back straight. He leads from 391 Andy Smith in second place. 383 Dave Johnson is all alone in third position as we have 4 laps remaining. In fourth now is 77 Ian Platt. Fifth is 471 Bobby Burns, as Shane Durrell incurs more bad luck, gets a flat tyre, and into sixth place goes 202 Richard Mason with 3 laps to go. And still 34 Mal Brown holds out as Andy Smith looks to have a problem. It could well be a flat tyre as Phil Smith, the British champion in 109, unlaps himself. Into second goes 383 Dave Johnson, and there's the evidence. 391 Andy Smith has indeed got a flat. So this could allow 77 Ian Platt at the death to snatch a better position. And 391 Andy Smith completely sheds his tyre. And onto his last goes 34 Mal Brown. Here comes 77 Ian Platt and 471 Bobby Burns. And it's a red flag. It's a red flag on the last lap. And it could well be because of that sheared tyre by 391 Andy Smith. But your confirmed victor should be 34 Mal Brown. And it's the red flag, in fact, was because there's a fire in the petrol tank of the 391 car. As we can close in on there, you can see it flickering somewhat, and that could be rather dangerous. I don't think Andy's quite aware. Oh, there could be a bit of a fire on the petrol pipe. I don't think anybody's aware of it. Look at that! Look at that! Let's see if we can get a close-up of this. They're trying to signal to Andy, but just look. Has he got a fire in it? Just look. And Andy getting out of the car now, realising the situation. The caution from the yellow is about to drop the green on race 4 tonight here at the Odsall Stadium, Bradford. with 297 Nick Field at the head. And Tim Warwick in the ancient 307 car breaks away down the home straight to lead for the first time. The rest of the traffic come thundering through. And there goes John Lund and Junior Wayman at the back, fighting their way through the field on already Andy Hodgson in 272. And number 1, Peter Faulding had to take evasive action from the spinning car of 234, Mark Duxbury. There goes the winner of Heat 2 tonight, 98 Les Spencer, looking to make it a double if he can. Your leader on the back straight is 297 Nick Field. Here they come, the leaders through the pits turn. Number 2, Paul Harrison, is the man leading the red tops at this stage. And Harrison now putting the bumper in on 389, Steve Burgess. 98 Les Spencer goes through. Then goes 464, Jamie Davidson, and the number 2 car of Paul Harrison as all hell lets loose once again on the far side. And 413 Matthew Bennett desperately tries to get through. Number 2 Paul Harrison puts the bumper in hard on the home straight. And here they come through the pits turn. And 272 puts the bumper in on car 2. 53 John Lund tries to pick up the pieces. And let's have a look for the leaders. Here they come. Through the pits corner, 297, 464 and 413. Paul Harrison and Andy Hodgson in 272. They're still in there with a fighting chance. And it's
number 2, 98. Yeah, number 2 and number 98. And number 98, of course. No. All happened. 98, full wallet, second, 34 car. I'm not going to get the smack. Holding car number 1, just getting position. Okay, 98, 2 before and number 1. Thank you, Aaron.
And we've just been notified by the officials there will be no race control nights for the duration of this final due to the weather, somewhat light-heartedly. Nobody wants to get electrocuted in the box by the lightning. And away we go on the rolling lap for the grand final tonight. Drivers concerned duly notified that there will be no race control traffic lights during the duration of this race. We're about to finally embark on this, the grand final, in completely different race conditions to what has preceded us already tonight. Very, very wet. Green flag, and we're away. And let's see who comes through to lead. It's 140, Andy Robertson through the pits corner. Here he comes. Trying to make an early break of it. Leading the yellow tops is number 3, Eddie Roberts, has 424, Mike Haywood comes to a halt. Leading the blue tops is 234, Mark Duxbury, has 73, Rob Cowley encounters trouble, and here on the approach to the pits corner, a real melee as some of the cars have hit the beams, and that presents problems for those coming through. 140, Andy Robinson's your leader. In second place, challenging, is number 3, Eddie Roberts. And then comes 275. In the lead. Leading the blue tops down the home straight. 383 David Johnson beginning to present his challenge ahead of 226 Mark Webster and 98 Les Spencer, and 215 Jeff Nichols goes into a spin on turn 2. It's 140 Andy Robertson beginning to break away. Second place now, number 3 Eddie Roberts. In third is 237 Bob Timperley, and challenging for 4th 383 David Johnson goes through on the inside of the pile, which claims the I think that was the 98 car. 413 Matthew Bennett got through there, and 140 Andy Robertson goes into a spin. Is he going to recover in time? He looks to have done, and he holds it. In second at the moment now goes 383 Dave Johnson as he approaches the back straight. In third now looks to be 413 Matthew Bennett, and up to 4th in the ensuing melee on that top corner is number 1, the world champion Peter Faulding. In 5th is 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. In 6th is 53 John Lund, and in 7th is 260 Dave Beresford. But it's still Robinson who holds it as he goes down the home straight. Here comes the challenge for 3rd, and number 1 Peter Faulding goes through. 515 Frankie Wayman Jr. as he passes the starter, involved with a good battle with 260 Dave Beresford and 53 John Lund. And Beresford looks to have come out the best from that and powers away down the back straight. Andy Robinson, though, still leading in treacherous conditions. He goes down the back straight and approaches the pits corner and still has a healthy lead ahead of 383 Dave Johnson in 2nd, and we have yellow flags, and this must surely be due to that melee on the far side on the apex of turns 1 and 2. And so with the field closing up, 140 Andy Robertson is your leader ahead of 383 Dave Johnson in 2nd place. In 3rd should be number 1 Peter Faulding. and the rain pours down at the rate of gobstoppers. Here they come around once again, under the discretion of Mr. Starter. 140, Andy Robinson, your leader. Second, 383, David Johnson. In third place is number 1, Peter Faulding. Fourth, 413, Matthew Bennett. And in fifth is number 3, Eddie Roberts. Then comes 260, Dave Beresford. 53, John Lund. And the rest of the field, although there's not so many left in this absolutely tropical rainstorm. And it's still under yellow, and quite clearly the officials having a degree of difficulty in holding the field under some sort of order. It's still yellow flags, but quite obviously these drivers can't see that. And now things have become a little bit farcical. I expected the downpour that we've surely got, and they're all out there in just their ordinary race overalls, getting completely covered in mud and soaked to the skin, just like we are here in SCM out on the corner. Getting soaked to the skin ourselves, bringing you the very best of race action here at Odsal-ish. Right then, after a lengthy delay, we're about to return to racing, and can Andy Robinson hold on? Have you ever seen wet weather like this? 413 Matthew Bennett spins out, and Andy Robinson's gone. Andy Robinson's gone, that presents no surprise, and down the back straight, your new leader, at a conservative pace, 383 David Johnson. Here he is, cough splutter, but he's going fairly well. Into second place, number 1, Peter Faulding, the world champion. In third is 260 Dave Beresford as we finally get past the halfway stage. In fourth is 471 Bobby Burns, and in fifth, a very, very wet and bedraggled 53 John Lund. Completing the top 6 looks to be 226 Mark Webster. So Andy Robinson is back in front of 383 Dave Johnson and holds him up as the lightning comes to flash in real Fort Lightning style. And Andy Robinson's playing, oh my God, what is he up to? And that's allowed number 1 Peter Faulding to go neck and neck with 383 Dave Johnson as they lumber down the home straight and tackle one another somewhat. And who's going to come out the best? The world champion at the head of affairs through the top corner. Down the home straight is leading, and will it be sugar or bust from 383 Dave Johnson? And he's gone through to lead once more. And this is coming quite comical. The top 3 now all together. 383 Dave Johnson leading from number 1 Peter Faulding and 260 Dave Beresford. And it will become as no surprise to any of us that this is the last race of the night here at Bradford. The Grand National has been cancelled, and I have never known racing conditions like this. 383 leading from number 1, then 260. I have a feeling that Jim Conlon could be a lap down, so 471 Bobby Burns is next in line with 53 John Lund, and the thunder flashes across the skies again, and 383 Dave Johnson goes wide. Peter Faulding back in there and clouts him aside, and Johnson's gone into the plating. Number 1 Peter Faulding now leading from 260 Dave Beresford and 383 Dave Johnson. Oh! My goodness me! And the lighting's gone in an almighty flash, and that will be the end of racing tonight. And what a way to finish! And the lightning went, and the crowd have got the most excited they've been all night. The winner being #1 Peter Faulding, and God decided enough was enough.
Dave Johnson was second in number 3.